Creating a local project and job in Trimble Access 2018. When you first open Trimble Access 2018, it's automatically going to open to the project screen. Now there's two different ways you can create a project in Trimble Access 2018. You can do it locally inside the software, or you can do it in the cloud and then download it later. For this example, we'll create it locally in the software. So this is the first time 2018 has been open. So when we come to the project screen, there are no projects. So we'll click new. And you do have to give it a name. There's options for name, description, reference, location, and you can even load an image. You do at least have to put a project name in. The others are optional. So I'm just going to type in new project for this. Now the way this works is in the older versions of Trimble Access, you had a login that you would do on the main page, and whatever your login name was, that created a folder inside Trimble Data where your job files and their associated files were stored. In 2018, you create a project. That project folder acts like the old login folders did. So inside Trimble Data, you'll have your project folder. Inside your project folder, you'll have your job files, any DXFs, point files, anything that goes along with that job file. So again, it's just a way to structure things so that when you, if you are using the cloud service, Trimble Connect, Trimble Access knows where everything is and where everything goes. So we'll go ahead and type in the project name and click enter, and then hit create. Now, since there weren't any jobs in this project, it's automatically taken us to the new job screen where we can create a new job. You'll see here at the top, you can create job from a template. Since this is a brand new version of Trimble Access, the only template that exists is default. After we create a job, we'll get an option for a last job used template, or we could go into Trimble Access and create templates for different coordinate systems, different job file setup styles, that sort of thing. You can also create a job from a job XML file or a DC file. So if you have a job XML or a DC file from the office, you can choose that button and create the job from the job XML or DC. We're going to go ahead and create it from a template today, and I'll go ahead and give this a name of new job. And then we need to set up our property. So first property is a coordinate system. For this example, I'll go ahead and set up a state plane coordinate system. So I'll click on where it says scale 1, choose select from library. And I do want to use United States state plane 1983. For this example, I'll use North Carolina as my zone. And I will use the geoid model. Select my geoid model from the list, G12B US. I will use grid coordinates for this example, and the ellipsoid height from my project in this area is around 300 feet. Now, since this is the first time I've set up a project, my units are still in meters, so I will click on the black arrow here, go to units, and tell it that I'm working in survey feet. That way I won't get 300 meters for my project height. If it's set to last job used and you've been using survey feet, then you can just type it in survey feet, international feet, whatever you're working in. I'll click enter, and we'll store those coordinate system settings. Now I'll click on my units, click right where it says meters, and go ahead and set my units up as necessary. For this job, I'll use US survey feet and change everything over to English units. You have an option to set up to use quadrant bearings. By default, Trimble Access is going to work in azimuths. If you want quadrant bearings, you can check the box here. I will continue to go through and set everything up for English units using survey feet. And then, like I said, once I'm done doing this the first time, there will be an option for last job used for as a template for other jobs as I go through. I won't have to do this every time. Click accept. Now my coordinate system is set up, my units are set up. I could add a linked file, which could be a job file or a point file that I could link to the job. Linked files are nice because you don't actually import the data into the job, but it's available to set the instrument up on, to stake out to see on the map screen. So I can link files there. I also have an option for active map where I can set a background map. I can set a feature library into my project, so I have feature codes and attributes. I do want to change my COGO settings over to grid since I am using grid coordinates here. I always recommend, if you're using grid coordinates, set your COGO settings to grid. If you're using ground coordinates or a scale of 1, set your COGO settings to ground. That way you just know you're singing off the same sheet of music. If you're working in grid coordinates for your data collection, if you do any COGO work, that's going to get done in the same units there. Also have an option for additional settings where I can set to use 2 extra descriptors. I can use the attributes of a base code that's set automatically. I could apply a point range or a point name range for the job, so you could put in this is basically point number. So if you got multiple crews working on a job, you can set this so that this crew is using this point number range and you don't overwrite points. I'll turn that off. You could also add the points automatically to a CSV file. So this is going to create a CSV file as points are located. I'll go ahead and accept that. And then also my media files scrolling down are set to the previous point. So if I take a photo with my tablet or TSC7, then the photo is going to get tagged to the previous point. There's other options you can set there. And then again, I have the option to set up a reference description, who the operator is, notes. This is all just metadata that's optional. I'll go ahead and accept that. And once that's done, I have my job set up. Since Trimble Access 2018 is running on Windows 10, the path that's created when we create a new project and a new job can be found by clicking on the menu icon at the upper left-hand corner of the screen. Then go into Job Data, and under Job Data, choosing File Explorer. This will open up our Windows 10 File Explorer, and it shows us that on the C drive, under Program Data folder, we have a Trimble folder, then a Trimble Access 2018 folder. Inside that, you'll have a Trimble Data folder. In Trimble Data, there'll be a Projects folder that has all our projects. In this case, we only have one, the New Project folder. And if I open that up, I'll find my new job. And this is also where any job-related data would be. So if you had a background map or a point file or something like that that you wanted to put in, the path would be C drive, Program Data, Trimble, Trimble Access 2018, Trimble Data, Projects. Open the project folder, and that's where your job and associated files would be.